Hey everyone, here's another example from section 3.1. This is an application problem and it deals with a football being kicked into the air. So, if a football is kicked straight up with an initial velocity of 64 feet per second from a height of 5 feet, then its height above the earth is a function of time given by h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 64t plus 5. So a lot of words there. Really all they're saying is this function represents the height that this football is going to go and with respect to time. So if we know what time is, we can plug it in there, figure out the height. What is the maximum height reached by the ball? So the first thing I need to do is, it says maximum. Remember, maximum is the vertex of a parabola which opens downward. And I know this opens downward because look at the leading coefficient. Leading coefficient here is negative 16, which means this thing is opening downward. So the maximum is the vertex of the parabola which opens downward. So, and that would be the time. So once I find the maximum, which is the vertex, then obviously x represents time and y represents the height. So it asks the maximum height reached by the ball. I'm looking for the y value there. So remember, for a vertex, we know that negative b over 2a is, so if I do negative b over 2a on this function, that'll give me the time. But the function of negative b over 2a is what will give me the height. So let's start with negative b over 2a. Well, that's negative 64, because that's b, over 2 times negative 16, which gives negative 64 over negative 32, which then gives 2. So this is what my time is. I can say that that equals t, okay, but 2 is the initial part of my vertex. So I'm going to write that out here, 2, comma, and what I'm going to find is I'm going to find the height now, because that's what my goal was. So now I'm going to evaluate this function. So I'm going to say f of, or in this case, let's go h of 2 equals negative 16, 2 squared, plus 64 times 2 plus 5. So 2 squared gives 4. 4 times negative 16 is going to give negative 64 plus 128 and then plus 5. So negative 64 and 128, that's actually 64 plus 5 is 69. So if my ball flies for 2 seconds, 69 is the height in feet that it's going to reach. So this right here is the answer. And that would be, we'll write that down, 69 feet. So long story short, if it asks for a maximum, find the vertex, and if it's asking for the height, that's the y value. So you have to actually find negative b over 2a and get your time and then plug that into the equation to get your answer.